morning, and welcome to DualiTEA. I'm your host, Akasha, and I'm here with Artsy Ash.
What's up? Good morning.
And how are you feeling today? Thank you so much for pulling up and coming on the show. I know we've been talking about it for a minute, and we finally, we locked it in. We got here.
Yes, thanks for having me. You know I loved you. You know I loved you.
For y'all that don't know Ash, she is an incredible artist in the community, small business owner. She my personal tattoo artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, girl.
And an amazing friend and great person.
Oh, stop. You gonna make me blush right at the beginning?
Just some small things. Just some small things. I'm not even gonna go in all that. That's some light, a little bit about her. And yeah, today we're gonna kind of get into like some themes. Like a big thing with this podcast, I like to make sure that when we're talking about different topics or when I'm going to have a guest on, that it's something that is relevant in your life and something that's kind of coming up. So I was talking to Ash and I was like, what's a recurring theme that's kind of coming up? And, if you want to talk about that theme or what it was that you said in response.
So I feel like a lot of growth has been happening in my life. Sometimes at a speed I'm definitely not comfortable with, but I think that goes with stepping out of your comfort zone. And most of the time when we're, resistant to that, it's us stunting that growth. And you'll keep being put in uncomfortable situations until you grow, like, pretty much. And I just feel like that's been happening over and over. But it's definitely part of the big plan because good things have been happening. Like, that's just what I've been focusing on. And I like to share that, especially, like, now your outreach, my outreach is growing. So, like, I feel like people could relate to that a lot.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. When you said that, I was like, it just hit.
Yeah.
It hit. It's like literally exactly where I felt I'm at right now, too. When you said that on the phone with me, I was literally like, yo, this is the perfect topic to get into because that's exactly what I've been feeling recently as well coming up. And I think a lot of people, have been feeling that. So it's like, what can we do to kind of like step out of our own way where we can unleash that power, and unlock that power? And knowing that we have it within us, how can we, kind of make that room to do so? And it's like something that also has been recurrently coming up for me with that question and that concept has been, it's been like not about what I need, but more about what I need to let go of in order to allow that to have space. Because, in the world we live in, it's constantly pitched to us that we need something. We need something either outside of us or we need something, and then we can feel happiness and then we can be successful. But a lot of times that I've noticed is like, especially in the past 2 months, has been what do I really need to let go to just allow myself to attune to that energy that's already within me. I don't really need anything outside of myself, and it's just like heeding that call when it comes to it, because it could be hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but I feel like all growth is hard. Like, it hurts. Like, sometimes it's not like, oh, yay. Like, it's not always, I feel like it always comes with some hurt, but that's just a reminder, like, this is not where you're staying. Like, this is part of the process.
Without a doubt. It's like nothing good comes easy, and if things could be easeful, which is a little different than easy, where it's like, okay, once you let go of one thing, another thing aligns, and it's kind of like that, but it still don't make it easy. And I think it's really also like there should be space held for that moment where it's like you can grieve when you make a decision. Like, even though you make the right decision for you, you can still grieve. Like, you gotta give yourself this space, like just because you're doing something that's good for you doesn't mean it's always gonna feel good in that moment. Especially when we're so used to something like the Instagram, Facebook algorithm be like hella nosy in your whole business. So it's like, because I feel like I've been talking about topics like this, a bunch of different things have been popping up you know, and one of the quotes this morning was like, when you start growing your taste in things, people and places start changing. And it's like almost this cognitive dissonance that happens. Like, do I even like, what do I like? Like, who am I even? Like, I used to like this. I used to like hanging out with this person or doing this. Like, now I don't, and it doesn't resonate anymore. And then that like guilt or shame will set in because it feels like something's wrong with us. But really it's like, you know, the butterfly that turned into a cocoon that came from a caterpillar also might have felt like something was wrong with them when they were going through that process of metamorphosis.
Right.
So it's like, you know, allowing yourself to go through these breakthroughs, it's just, it's not as easy and glamorous as, you know, it could be portrayed to be, you know, but
it always looks better like on the outside.
Without a doubt. And like people don't know what your internal struggle is or what's going on with you or like how you're processing and things that are going on. And it's you know, it's a very real topic, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people do experience and go through. And you know, it's important to kind of validate each other, knowing that we're not alone in that.
Right.
And be like, yo, like, you just did something that's really good for you, and I know it hurts. Like, I love you, sis. Keep going. Like, it's okay. You know, I know it hurts, but, you know, don't give up on it just because it's uncomfortable. You know?
You kind of have to work through that. It's always going to be uncomfortable, but that's the stepping out of the comfort zone. Because outside of comfort is discomfort, so you got to get through it.
And that's where growth happens, not when you're comfortable, not when you're cozy and the same shit that you was doing yesterday or the day before. It's like, it's that discomfort, it's that void place, that like in between that you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then like, then everything just starts to hit and you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly why I did this. It's that feeling you get when you're jumping. Like, say there's a gap here and you jump from this rock to that rock, that feeling right in between. Like,
yes, the leap of faith. Yeah. The elevator feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, although at times it could feel heavy and we can doubt if we made the right decision and things like that, we can also learn to like kind of tune into the excitement of what it is on the other side, because it's like when you don't know what's on the other side of these decisions we make, like say like you quit your job, right? And sometimes you quit your job and you are really like smart about it and you planned it and you have another job lined up, and you know, and then other times like you just know you gotta go and it hits you and you're like, yo, if I don't leave right now, I'm compromising my morals and I need to go, or whatever the case is. And sometimes you don't have a backup plan. But that leap of faith and that nervousness, now you can either retreat and go into that comfort and not like comforting, coping space where it's like, all right, I'm afraid. I'm going to whatever vices, whether it's, you know, overeating or overindulging or disassociating or going out all the time, whatever it could be, could either like heighten, or you can feel the urge to want to do that. Maybe give in to one thing here or there because we're human beings.
Right.
But also give yourself that like, nah, I got me. Like, I know I did what I needed to do because that was in alignment with me, and I'm ready to embrace the unknown, but also participate with it. Like, I feel like that's so important when we're talking about manifestation, when we're talking about making changes. Like, you could pray to the universe all day, but if you're not also living it,
putting in the work,
doing the physical, it's not gonna. It's only gonna do so much. Like, you will see things, like, for sure. Like, I'm definitely one that has like completely like monkey barred in the ethers with doing minimal physical. Like, so I really understand it, you know, where it's like you'll still have things happen for you, but it won't be consistent, and then it will be very unstable because you don't know when you're gonna reach the other monkey bar. But when you're also bringing in that stability in doing the physical things, whether that's like waking up, creating a routine, creating your own stability within yourself, especially through the change, I think is really important. What's something
I think that's the scary part, especially like with me, like becoming like a real Like, I say it like I haven't been a business owner for years, but, like, it's become so real. And, like, we're going on a year already, and it's, like, it was definitely uncomfortable at times, but it's, you work through it. And it's, like, all new, so it's very scary, but it's worth it. Because even though it felt heavy at times, it feels so much lighter. Like, once you sit with it, you get through it, and it's pretty popping.
Once you're like moving, and so it's like, yo, not to mention, like, you literally opened up a business mid-pandemic and it's still out here like thriving. Like, you need to give yourself credit for that, because like what, like, that is incredible.
Yes.
And when I say that with like the utmost like love and inspiration, right, that you have done with your business and what you're doing for the community as a woman, as a Latin woman, you know, as a tattoo artist, a female tattoo artist.
Female tattoo artist, like, yeah.
And as a Staten person, you know, and it's just like bringing that medicine here, and also just like the way y'all got your shop set up is so chill. Like, you know, if anybody knows, like, you ever go into a tattoo parlor and you're like, this feels really like douchey. Like, I feel like really judged. I don't know. Like,
they're a little intimidating.
Really testosterone filled. Like,
because even as an artist, wanting to go visit, like, it's scary. Mm-hmm. So I could imagine it.
I feel like it's very similar to like barbershop energy. Because like, I used to get my hair, my undercut done.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And it's very much so that energy where it's like, you know.
Yeah, everybody looks at you and they just stare at you rather than like, hi, how are you?
Yeah, it's like really intense. And that's just not the vibe. I've never been in a tattoo parlor that's like yours. And like, you know, Tiger Lily, if y'all don't know, now you know. Go check it out for sure. Appointment only. And it's like, it's cozy, it's comfortable. Like, you go in there, like, there's plants in there, there's art everywhere.
Yes, my plants, and all of them are named. I introduce you if you want to meet them. They're not much talkers,
they're
but
so cute and pretty, and we love them. Yeah, no, for real. And it's spacious. Like, it's like there's not like artist on top of artist on top of artist.
Yes.
Like, it's spacious. You feel like you can actually let your shoulders down.
Yeah, I've been I've been very fond of personal space, like, long before COVID. Mm-hmm. I'm not big on, like, I'm cool if we showing love, and I know you like that, but, like, you know? Mm-hmm. I feel like really there's a good respect in space. I like it.
For sure. It's like, I feel like two things that I really didn't mind about COVID has been, like, keep that 6 feet. Great.
Right.
Great. Like, we're on this line. Oh, you're not breathing down my neck? Lit. That's beautiful. One thing. And then hand sanitizer, I've always been like, there's a line from Kid Cudi, and he goes, yeah, I'll shake your hand, but I keep the sanitizer on deck, right? And it's like, that means so many things.
Yeah.
It means so many things. Like, it's just like, it's like, okay, like, I'm going to wash off your germs, but also, like, I'm not going to hold on to your energy. And, like, with the hand sanitizer going on, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm like, I feel it, you know, I'm okay with people washing their hands more.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I encourage
energy,
it.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like there's little things here and there that's just like, you know, that are good, and then there's the other things that are like highly intense, but that's a whole other topic for a whole like podcast. But yeah, like
I'm the fact, but
so, you know, the fact that you have been able to thrive at such a time just sets the pace for the rest of your life and your business, you know. So it's just like, I definitely think that you should give yourself that credit. I think it's really important.
I'm working on it, because a big thing is imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know it was a thing until, like, the definition actually just started circulating, like, in the art world. Artists, you know, they make, like, the cute graphics and stuff. Oh, Lori.
Hey,
Lori.
We love you.
I was distracted. I'm like, Lori.
She's always, Lori is always locked onto this. Like, she's always like, shows love. Like, it'll be mid-podcast. I'll be like, oh, it's Lori. Hi. I need to start off by saying, like, hi, welcome to DualiTEA. What's up, Lori?
But yeah, the imposter syndrome, that's real. Like, creators, I know y'all feel it. Especially, like, during the pandemic, it was like everybody was home spending their time on social media even more so than before. So it was like more pressure, I feel, pressure to create, pressure to stay authentic and do this and do that. And, like, like it just built like just more tension. I feel like artists are already really hard on themselves, and like it just kind of gave this like unspoken like in all creatives. And I just feel like that is like something I'm really working on, the imposter syndrome, because who's to say I don't deserve the things that I like I've worked hard for, and then I'm working on like actually giving myself that credit.
Yeah.
But I actually been going to therapy and like working on these things for the past, yes. I reached out not too long after I had COVID for Christmas. Yeah, fun times.
COVID for Christmas, I had COVID for New Year's. We got the fucking gifts, man. Like, yo. Oh my God.
Yo, real life though. Look, living la vida COVID. Like, this is real stuff.
Crazy, yo.
But that was, it was after that I was like, I think I want to like talk to somebody like professionally, because I feel like I need help. And it was like, even that was like big, because like, God forbid I ask for help, because like I'm so used to doing things, and like I don't mind asking for help, but then it's like I'm very particular, and we'll just use that word. So I just had to, like work through that and be like, it's okay to ask for help. And that's why I made sure I shared it, because once I got through that first session, I was like, oh, therapy is actually like I was looking forward to my next one. And I've seen the improvement as like the business grows, because not only am I helping myself, my mental health, it's like it's overflowing into my marriage. I'm newly married, about to go on a year of marriage. Hey, babe. He's probably asleep, but hi, I love you.
Y'all are mad cute.
For real. It's like really overflowing into other areas of my life. So I know people are resistant to it. People don't, I get it. People will rather like skin their knees than to ask for help. So, but it's like, if I could explain, like if I could show them the growth, the progress, like I feel like more people will be into it. But it's scary. It is scary. So I totally understand, but it's okay to ask for help.
And there's also a lot of people that have different traumas when it comes to like therapy. Like I also recently had gotten into therapy earlier in the year. Like also like after COVID, I'm like, all right, I can't put this off anymore. Like I need to find a therapist. Like I need to have something that's more on like the physical grounded level. Like, yes, I have my elders, and yes, I have different people that I can consult with, but I don't want to always be calling them and pouring onto them, even though they may feel like, okay, no, you could talk to me. It's like, I want somebody that I could, that is just, that's specific job is for that, and once I found that, I was so resistant, because I'm like, I want to do it online. I want to do it in person. And I was trying to look everywhere for it, and like nobody's really doing it in person right now. And if they are, it's like not a lot of people are accepting new clients. So I was just like, I'm someone who also has trauma with therapy, because when I was younger, I was misdiagnosed and I was given medication that wasn't for me. And I had such a bad reaction. My parents were like freaking out. Like, why would you give her this medicine? She's literally like 13. Like, what is wrong with you? Like the psychiatrist that had prescribed me what I was getting prescribed at the time, like, wasn't even listening to me, and I knew it, So like, I don't know what that was, but unfortunately, there's people that are good about their jobs, and there's people that aren't. Just like there's people that care, and there's people that don't care as much, and maybe they don't have the capacity to, or whatever the case is. And then especially when you're going into the pharmaceutical, that's a whole other monster, and you have to literally like sell your soul for a lot of things to be able to live in that way. So it's like, that was what it was. But I was really like, I had trauma about it. Now, last year, I was like, okay, I really wanted to get into therapy. I'm looking. I finally get in contact with one company, and like, because I had read the bio of somebody on like Psychology Today, I'm like, oh my God, this woman seems so lit. Like, I feel like she's perfect.
Mine's a woman too.
I
wanted a woman.
I definitely wanted a woman. Yeah, I had a horrible experience with a man's the therapist, but I'll tell that on another podcast. That's just wild. Like, but yeah, like I hadn't been in therapy because of that being my last experience when I think I was 13 the last time I went, and yeah, so. The woman, I thought that was like a perfect match for me. I'm talking to the woman in the office, kind of set me up. She's like having an issue with my insurance or whatever the case is. So we're talking like once a week, talking about, she's telling me like, okay, cool, do this. I'll have you set up next week. And we're like on the phone, we're talking at this, but she's like saying to me, she's like, you should be a therapist. Like, what, you know, like, she's like, oh, I'll watch your podcast, this, that, and third. All of that is nice, but at the same token, like, I'm still not getting my therapy session. So, like, what's going on? And that's something I noticed with a lot of professionals. It's like, okay, it's flattering that you want to be my friend, but, like, I dead ass need to unpack this shit. And so, like, yeah. Something I noticed in a lot of different therapy sessions or different people or professionals, I don't know, like when you have the capacity, and I'll say this because I feel like you're also one of those people that you'll just be anywhere and someone will just tell you their entire life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that has happened to me in therapy, you know, when I'm supposed to be there for myself, you know, and that happened again. So I was so discouraged. I was like, yo, like, really? Yeah. You know, like, and then I wasn't getting a call back. Now I'm like, and I'm gonna have to deal with this denial? Like, I have to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
Finally, I, like, stopped looking, and then I was like, you know what? Nah. After I got COVID, I was like, nah, I'm gonna look again. And I found someone, I'm like, all right, I have to just accept that it's gonna be online. Picked this woman, ended up working out, set up a time. I was, like, right over by Taste Buds. I was sitting in the car because I was in between, like, clients. I had like a 2 or 3 hour gap, and I'm like, all right, let me go get a smoothie and do therapy in my car. You know?
Yeah,
I did
honestly, it's great.
It's kind of awesome that there's like, you have the ability to do it wherever, you know? And I didn't have the best service, so it kept on cutting out. My phone kept getting hot and shutting off.
Oh my goodness.
But I enjoyed my session with her. And like my point of like bringing all that up is like, for anybody that, well, one more thing is like, I didn't know if I liked her because she was the only therapist in my life that wasn't trying to be my friend.
Right, she was trying to do her job.
I'm going to be your therapist. I want to help you. And she was so like boundary oriented and like assertive and like all these different things. And I'm like, do I like her? Do I even like her? You know? And then I'm like, no, I do. OD, I actually really respect her.
Yeah.
But even though I was, because she was exactly what I was looking for. I don't want to be validated. I don't want to be coddled. I want to come here and unpack the fact that I have wanted those things for so long from so many environments because of the lack of not having it in my, whether, you know, childhood or wherever it came from, you know? So it's like, it was such an, and now it's like, I love her. Like, she's a badass bitch. Like, I really love her. Like, on some real shit, like, I really respect her OD. But my point of bringing this whole thing up is like, yo, like, despite any experience you might have in the past, don't give up on yourself. There is a person out there that's going to fit you perfectly and complement you perfectly. And, you know, ideally, like, what I feel like therapy is like you jumble headphones in your head. Like, all of your thoughts and your different feelings are like these jumbled, like, tied up headphones. And then when you go to therapy, the therapist like holds one part,
and then you sit there to like just sit there and unravel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good analogy for sure. Mm-hmm. Because that was one of the things my therapist at first, like, because I haven't done therapy in years, over 10 years. So at first she was just like, you know, therapy is not meant to fix you in any way. It's meant to help you get through things. It teaches you ways like, what is the word? Like things that you can do, like tools. Yeah. They teach you the tools to get through stuff, to work through things, to work through your emotions, and
to have like healthy coping mechanisms.
Yes, healthy coping mechanisms, mm-hmm. Right. Instead of, you know, blowing up or however you release your toxic energy in like not a healthy way for you or whoever's around you. getting the crossfire, you know? So yeah, I liked that she was very upfront about that. It wasn't like, oh, your life is going to be perfect. She was like, let's pick
or
goals.
Your solution.
Right. She was like, let's pick goals. Let's, you know, obviously talk, and you talk about everything. And mine is a great one too. She's that bitch for real. Love her life. So the only thing it makes me sad about is that therapy is not affordable.
Yeah.
When I think about it, you know, I am blessed to be able to afford it. If anybody's watching and needs therapy, hit me up for a link. I'll read my DMs all the time. So hit me up and be like, hey, I need that link. I'll send you a week for free with the company I use. I could do that for anybody. Anybody who's watching this and you need it, let me know. But yeah, I love it. I love that she's always there. She's very supportive, and she really has helped me get to where I'm at now. She even told me, like, you know, you could pause your account. And when she told me that, I was like, wow, like I really must have made some type of progress, that she's telling me, like, I'm not worried about you. And she told me that recently. So I'm like, that's great, because, you know, I feel like I have made progress, and it's okay for me to say that now. Like, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel pompous. Like, it's okay. Because I feel like people should be congratulating themselves more. But I wish there was a way that it was affordable, because of all that goodness that comes from it when you really, really want that help. But
there are some companies, and I need to find a friend of mine. She
sure.
She had sent me something that is like really affordable therapy. I think it's like $10 or $20, like a session. Like, it's something very
oh my gosh,
affordable.
yes, that's amazing. I need to share that.
Yeah, I need to find out what it is, but you know, and getting on, like, I recently just got cut off my insurance because, you know, 26, and
I feel you.
like, I am figuring out what to do now with insurance, because, you know, we don't get taught this in school, so I'm just like, all right, figuring that out. And I just went from having a $25 copay to my therapy to it being $120 a session.
Right.
So needless to say, I definitely told my therapist, I'm like, yo, listen, we got to make it bi-weekly. I still think I can't afford to not do therapy. I can't afford to not do therapy. Like, if it's twice a month, like, I could break it down, like, that's $60 a week. Now I'm having $60 to give to my mental health a week. I don't think that's too bad. That's like $10
you're
for 6 days.
it.
Yeah,
you're prioritizing
exactly.
something that is important. Like, point blank, that's it. It's important.
Once you prioritize something, you realize that it's not that expensive. Like, what is more expensive? Me not being able to process something, and especially like when you're the person that everybody comes to, and you don't feel like you have many people to kind of go to in that way. Like, you can, like, and I want to give a lot of love and respect to the people, like, they know who they are that, like, hold me down, but also that's not their job. Like, it's not their job to be there for me 24/7. Neither is my therapist, but, like, I know Wednesday at, like, 3 o'clock or whatever day it is that I have that locked in, where I don't have to feel guilty about saying whatever I want about how I feel, and being able to process that. And that's it. Like, that's what that's for. Not like, okay, let me catch someone on this. Like, I don't want to do that. You know, I know what it's like when so many people do that and have done that so much in my life to me. And I know people don't mean to do it because they just genuinely need somebody. And, you know, that's why anytime people, like, come to me to vent, I always redirect them to themselves. Like, you don't actually need me, you need you. I'm going to bounce that off. Like, if you need me to just listen, I'll listen, you know, but you need you. You know, just because I might make you feel better when you talk to me, don't think you need me, you know, or anybody, not just me, you know, because that's unfortunately a lot of times, like, the mindset that happens when we're in these, like, desperate mindset to, like, get better. It's like anytime you feel good, then you're like, oh, I need to be with that person, or I need to do this thing. Like, okay, if I smoke, like, I'm gonna feel better, so I have to smoke every 5 minutes. If I, you know, work out, I feel better like, that's why you see hyper addicted personality types, because they probably, you know, aren't going to therapy. You know, in all honesty, like, it's the reality. Like, when you have everything in moderation, when you are hyper fixated on one thing, even it could seem seemingly healthy, like working out. Like I just said, like, it could seem healthy, but like if you're over obsessing over it, that's
Right.
not good. It might seem societally
Too
good.
much of anything is too good.
Exactly. It's like everything needs to have that balance and moderation. It's like,
For sure.
how do we find that balance between, start like the topic at hand, right? So like, how do we find the balance between having compassion for where we're at and not an accountability for not allowing ourselves to stunt our growth?
I would say the most important thing is to like sit with yourself and sit with these thoughts and really give them a second to like process. Don't act on impulse. So I feel like that helps. Prioritizing what's like going on, I feel like in that process you'll really feel like you'll really see how you feel and what you should do next. Because if you're feeling, I don't know, if you're feeling sad, you probably need to step up to self-care, like focus on you. Or maybe you've been feeling really distant from your family. You need to make time for your family. You feel like you haven't been around your friends, go make time for your friends. Like I feel like, again, the self-reflection, like I feel like you'll find the answers within yourself. You just got to give yourself the time. Like don't bash yourself too hard either, because people are so hard on themselves. Especially during this pandemic, because it's kind of like we were like forced to be like really hard on ourselves.
And to sit with ourselves.
Right.
We were forced to.
And yeah, and it was like people freaked out. Like they didn't know, like, oh my God, my routine is so different. Like now it's me, like, and I'm home stuck.
Years of like disassociation to self, right? Like I know a lot of people that would constantly be going out all the time and doing things for everybody else but themselves. When the pandemic hit, they were like, yo, I mean, some people were wild and still did their shit. Like, some people were still out here, like, and I'm like, yo, like, please stay home. Like, no one's even, people are going to the supermarket and trash bags. My guy, like, maybe stay
everybody
home.
was going to the supermarket. Stop.
I was
traumatizing.
Oh my God, yeah. I was like, I was going, anytime I went to the supermarket, I was thinking about this, like, 2 days ago. Like, I remember going to the supermarket with gloves. Like, I would always go with disposable gloves. I would make the list for, like, as the best amount of food that I would get, majority of, like, canned food, some fresh produce, and, like, just in case I wasn't going to be able to make it again. Like, I would do that once every, like, 2 to 3 weeks. I was not trying to be there. Like,
that was the smartest thing to do. And then you have people coming in every day, like, getting, like, the same things over and over. Like, buy two.
Just
don't come back.
Why would you, like, I on a regular day, pre-pandemic, I have, like, an anxiety attack every time I go to the supermarket. I feel like anybody, shout out to Trader Joe's on Staten Island, because, like, every time
Trader Joe's,
every time I go to Trader Joe's, like, I'll be, like, a lot of times I go to Trader Joe's, I help an elderly man. He's 88 years old, and I'll buy him his food, right? And he loves Trader Joe's. Like, he's like, only Trader Joe's, only the best. Like, he's like, only the best Trader Joe's.
Yes,
like, it's so
only
funny.
the best.
And he's like obsessed with it. He really is, and it's so cute. But like, he's 88 years old. Naturally, should not be going to the supermarket, especially at this time. So I'll go there, and I would have my list for him. And then I would have, like, the things I needed, not on a list, in my mind. Also, I'm hungry. So now I'm getting
the list
everything
in your
else.
mind.
It's like, oh, I need this turmeric shot. I didn't know I did, but now I know I need it. I need that cherry one, too. I love the cherry one. But, yeah, like, I'll be in there, and I'll just be like, I'll either have 2 carts, or I'll be, like, freaking out, try to section it off because I have to pay for it separately, right? And I remember, and also shout out to Lena, at Trader Joe's, because I swear, like, I'll be going through my anxiety text there, and she'll just pop out of nowhere, like, hey,
you need help? Yeah.
You good? Like, I'm like, no, I'm not, but thank you for this moment, because I was in the fucking void in this aisle right now, like blank staring at, like, something I don't even know exists, like, just like, how am I gonna separate this? I know I spent already too much money, like, Oh my God. So like
the pandemic was rough for everybody.
And it affects you in all different ways. And like, it's weird. It's weird.
It's still weird.
It is.
It's a new way of living. We just, we're humans. We're going to adapt and keep it pushing whichever way we choose.
Thanks. It's like the compassion that's needed to deal with what we're dealing with, but then also simultaneously, it's like, it's so hard because it's like, we have to survive, right? We still gotta survive, and like rent still needs to be paid, and things still need to be, and things are like more expensive than they've ever been, and we have like some of us, not everybody, has like less income than they've ever had in these different things, pay cuts, time, hours, like a bunch of different stuff, and not the accessibility to do as much, and then when you are doing a lot, or you're doing the most, you're like burnt out. Like there was a point in the pandemic I was working 3 jobs. I'm like, no, sis. No.
Not it.
Never that,
I feel you.
It's, that compassion of finding like, okay, it's time for me to step up, unleash my power, hold myself accountable for being the one that's in my way.
Yeah.
Most
of the time we are in our own heads.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that can start, like, even like to bridge the gap, like, what is a tangible thing to get you to your goal that you want? You want to feel stable. You want to feel happy. It doesn't even have to be like, oh, I want to open a business. You can get there too, that if that's a goal. But if you just want to feel like, I want to have more energy or things like that, like saying to yourself, like, okay, today I'm going to get up and I'm going to sit in front of the sun for 10 minutes and absorb some vitamin D and get my energy like the plant that I am, and and go and get that, like, and feed yourself in that way. Or like, okay, today I'm going to mop the floors. Today I'm going to do the dishes. Like, it's okay to celebrate the little things. And that's something that I feel like that's really been helping me get out of my ruts. If I go into like that space of like, I'm stunting my own growth. I have this opportunity to do something. Like, I am very much so in the past, like, I'm not going to say present tense but past tense, I have been one to like write when everything is like aligned and it's only for me, about me, not working for somebody else, and it's only just for me. Then it's just like, meow. I'm super overwhelmed. It's like, I'll be booked, a whole bunch of situations I'll be like, okay, I'm excited. And then like 2 days before the like my clients, I'm supposed to see them or whatever the case is, I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to do this. And then all of a sudden I'm getting cancellations. Like I'm warranting this stuff, like I'm manifesting it. Just as I manifested the creation of people booking me, I manifested the creation of people canceling. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's better because I was off anyway, and I find these excuses like I don't want to work with anybody if I'm feeling off, but I know myself. Like the second, unless it's like something really intense, then I will literally cancel. I'll be like, yo, like I'm not touching anybody, I'm not doing anything. But I know even if I'm in a mild funk, the second I step into that role and I know the amount of protection, love, nurturing, and prayer that I put into before I touch anybody, whether it's energy work, whether it's facials, whether it's reading cards, whatever it is. I put so much of it. I don't take my shit with me. Like I don't, like, we're always going to be going through stuff. Stuff. We can't we can't completely pause on everything in life to like, we can't keep going past it. It's like the balance, like, okay, I'm not going to keep going forward and completely disassociate from the things I'm going through, or I'm going to hyper fixate on the things I'm going through, and it's going to stop me from actually doing other things, like the external and the internal world, like finding the balance between the two, because you notice, and I'm sure you even see it, I'm sure you do, because I feel like you do a great job at it, like finding the balance between both, like, and the way you schedule clients and the things you have your boundaries of like, all right, well, this is what the time I need for me. This is time that I have for my clients. Like, and respectfully, I'm sure there's some days you wake up and you don't want to do it. But then once you get into your shop, you're like, nah, I'm not excited.
That's my safe haven. But I literally built it that way. I manifested it that way. Like, And every day is not easy. It is very hard. And trial and error, oh God, scheduling is like, because when you're your own business owner and operator, it's like you make the schedule, you tend to the schedule. And like, yeah, sometimes you do mess up and then it's you. You have to face all those things. Yeah. But it's worth it in the end because you have to look at the good things. I think we also don't give ourselves enough credit and think about the good things, even when they're bad. You know, don't just celebrate the good things when it's all good. You have to celebrate what you have, show gratitude. I feel like gratitude has also gotten me a lot, whether it's like connections or just the energy I give off. Like
and it grounds you in the present.
Yeah.
It reminds you that you prayed for this moment that you're living in and don't take it for granted.
Right.
You know, you prayed to have a shop, like you prayed to have your own apartment, you prayed to have whatever it is, and then now you're in here being like a brat, you know, and you gotta be like, sis, like, what's good with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the privilege to be a brat in your own damn apartment. I literally had this conversation with myself like 3 days ago. I'm like, I walked past the mirror. I got up off the couch, like I was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch one episode of Inuyasha.
10 episodes later.
Yeah, literally. I got up. I pried myself off the couch. I was like, I ain't shit. I need to figure something. I need to do something. I'm like, now I'm starving. I look at myself. I have like half of my hair is in a bun on this side. Half of my hair is out. And I just look at myself dead in the soul in the mirror. And I was just like, you have the privilege to be a brat in your own apartment. You know how long you prayed for this? You know how much you wanted to have your own space?
Back to celebrating the little things.
And then once I had that, and then I looked around my apartment, and I'm like...
Then you realize how big they are.
Bitch. Yeah. I'm like, you did. And I'm like, oh, be happy. Like, yeah. You know, you don't have to just be like autopilot or sad or like... And when you return back to gratitude, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. I think gratitude has helped a lot. Gratitude and being patient, because sometimes I'm not patient with other people, and then I'm like, am I even being patient with myself? So it's like, it's all a learning process. Life is a learning process, like a whole learning experience, because there is no book. There's some that will help, but there's no like manual to this thing. You just trial and error.
Well, it's the book that you're writing, because we all have a different instruction set. Like, right. We have to write it down as we go. You know? So
and I love helping. So like if anybody is struggling, like I don't know, you say I have this boss energy, but like I feel like it's also intimidating, but I don't try to be. So I try to like come off like, yo, ask me questions. I have all this stuff that I don't mind sharing, but for some reason that
questions
the
help
face,
to provoke it.
The face, I guess, I don't know, the resting bitch face.
I really understand both
I'm like,
of those
yo,
energies.
ask me questions. I will share everything, and it's like I have met some people along the way that like they tell me, you inspire me, you do this, you do that, and I'm like, yo, you telling me that is like more ammo, like more fuel, because if I could do it, you could do it.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. And it's beautiful.
Bottom
like,
line.
I really do understand that. Like, I be feeling like that often when people are like saying to me that, you know, oh, well, I wanted to tell you, but I was like nervous. And I'm like, no, you could literally ask me anything.
Yeah.
Like, please
Everyone thinks I'm so mean.
Yeah.
Like at first.
You're so nice. I don't know why people would think you're mean.
It's the face. I don't know what face.
I think that people with resting bitch face don't think other people with resting bitch face are mean, because we also go through the same.
Like we're mirroring each other. Like
yeah.
I feel I don't look mean.
Yeah, I don't feel you look mean.
Like people
say,
do you feel
I look mean?
No.
I'm like, a lot of people say I look mean. I'm like, I think it's the eyebrows. Honestly,
somebody had told me it was my eyes that they're like piercing, but like.
I mean, you're a Scorpio.
I'm gonna look at you.
Let's be honest. That's like that. You can't even help that energy.
Like I'm supposed to look away.
Like you're a Scorpio. I think it's my. If we're gonna blame the stars, I think it's my Leo rising that does it.
It's probably the Scorpio.
I think with the Scorpio, it's because people are like, "Yo, what's this intensity?" And it's just intensity means I love you, and they don't even know it yet.
What do you mean I'm intense?
Intensely asked.
What do you mean?
Nah, but for real, like, it's I feel like you voiced that like really well too, because like I already, like, last night I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I want to bring my laptop. I'm like, no, I'm not going to bring my laptop. I'm just going to bring a book. I was thinking about some questions I wanted to ask you because I'm done with stunting my own growth, right? Yes. On recording. On recording.
Yes. Throw some
I'm
Miracle Grow in that.
I mean, I'm done with getting in my own way when it comes to certain shit and, like, making excuses for things where it's like, when it comes to social media, I get mad frustrated. And I'm like, ugh, like, I don't want to fucking do hashtags and look this stuff up. I don't want to spend this much time doing this stuff. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to do this. Like, hashtags are corny. I just want to, like, you know, and I'm
There's
like,
an app for that.
And I bet.
Plug.
Exactly. So, like, literally last night I was thinking about, like, questions I wanted to ask you because you have literally, not only have you been doing this, a thought that I had last night when thinking about you and this podcast and things we're going to talk about, and then, you know, our amazing day that we have after this, I was thinking, like, yo, like, something that people might not know, or if they haven't, like, been rocking with you for a while, understand that not only are you, like, successful and becoming even more successful and growing your following and with intention, everything is, like, very integral, but, like, you've been, like, doing the work. Like, you didn't just, like, pop off because you, like, one thing you did, and, like, no, you've been, like, behind the scenes. The thing that people might not know is, like, I remember going to your crib getting a tattoo and you being like, okay, hold on, let me this app and this app and this app, and then you trying to put me on, and at the time I'm like, I can't even comprehend this right now. And you were trying to put me on, but I wasn't ready to fully receive it yet. And, like, now I feel like I'm ready to receive it, and that's why I'm like, yo, I want to ask you some questions because I gotta take responsibility. If somebody was paying me to do, which I used to do, many other people's social media, like, I was doing that with my whole fucking chest. Why can't I do that for my damn self?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard. It's when you're the boss and the operator. It's like you're the whole thing. You're the one woman circus. And then if you fail at one thing, the only person you have to be mad at is yourself. So it's like harness that power. It's in you. You're made for it. You're built for it. You just gotta, like, really step into it and focus.
I feel like once I, like, have a system where it's, like, a reward system, like, either I'll pay myself or I'll, like, create, like, oh, okay, now you can give yourself this. Like, I'll be more prone to do it. Like, that's how I feel my mind works, because I have to do, like, a short-term gift. You know, I feel like a short-term self-validation, because I'm at such a place where I realized I was also looking back and thinking, you know, people that have helped in the past and their businesses and, like, their small business, how I've helped them grow and, like, really thrive in many different ways. And I was thinking, like, yo, a lot of the things I was doing was for the validation. Like, wow, you succeeded, you've done all of these things. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing it for. Like, because I would, like, zone into it and, like, I would just fixate on it because that's the way I get. But it was motivated and fueled by external validation because of my lack of worthiness that I felt within myself. And I didn't have the full awareness of that. So now that, like, I haven't been looking for that external validation, I feel like for the past, like, at least 2 years, I'd say I'm been hyper fixated on this factor where if I get validation outside of myself, I'm like I'm more resistant to it than anything, because I'm like, no feedback is better feedback for me right now when it comes to certain things. Like, it's okay to get credit for things, but I mean, like, when people are doing a lot with it, I'm like, take me off the pedestal. I'm not on it. You know? Like, I'm not on a pedestal. Like, don't do that. Like, I'm just like you, you know? And with that being said, I feel like I reverted so far from understanding what motivates me, because what motivated me my entire life doesn't motivate me anymore. If somebody's like, yo, I want you to do this, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, if I don't want to do it, like, I'm not motivated by that because I'm not looking for the validation. So I feel like that's been, like, a recent struggle, which how I've been getting in my own way with things, because I'm just trying to rediscover what motivates me for myself and then what motivates me in the balance of, like, the universe and for the people. So I've been in the process of that, and now that I have a lot more clarity on it, I'm, like, ready to kind of push forward through that threshold, unleash my power, you know, things like that. Because it's like, you think you You think you do it once, you think you do it twice, you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life.
Every day, yo.
You just have deeper thresholds.
Every day is
what
learning.
More power are you going to unlock? Like, you have ultimate levels and tools within yourself. Like, it might be one thing this year, and then in 2 years, you could be like, it's so interesting, too, because you feel sometimes when you revisit the same lesson, you're like, did I digress? Like, did I regress? Did I go backwards? But really, it's like, no, you're just going deeper.
Yeah.
You're going to come to these same deaths and rebirths. Like, you're always going to do that,
right.
you know? And
maybe you have to handle it a different way.
Exactly.
Maybe it's like, you have to relearn this, try a different way.
And learn it with grace, too. You know, it doesn't have to be the tower. It doesn't have to be the most extreme, like, ripping you
Unless
apart.
you're a Scorpio. Like me.
Unless you have unless you have 8th house placements and are a Scorpio. But like, I don't have either of those placements, and I don't know what it is in my chart that makes me that way, or in my childhood upbringing, but just extremes have always been the thing. So like, what I'm really focusing on right now is just to easily go through lessons. It's something I was praying about last night with my ancestors. Like, I just really want to be able to accept easefulness and not create chaos when it's not around me, just because I'm comforted by it. You know, it's a weird thing, but a lot of us are comforted by chaos. And when things aren't chaotic, we're like, oh, fuck shit up. What do you mean? I was just telling you the story before. Like, I was
your tornado.
Yeah. That was the first tattoo I got by you, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so,
The tornado tat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was closing out that chapter, you know. I used to call myself a tornado of chaos. And I got that tattoo to symbolize, you know, I'm not doing that no more. I don't have to be the tornado. I could witness it from a distance. You know, that's what triggered me painting that painting, you remember?
Yeah.
I still want to get that tatted, too, like where there's the girl with the mushrooms out in the back, looking at the tornado in the distance. That's me. And that's why I got that tornado, to symbolize that, like, you don't have to be a tornado in order to create change. You can allow the change to happen easily. So,
facts, though.
Yeah. I feel like this was such an important podcast to have and talk about. I think that a lot of people are in this position right now. Like I said, I know when you said it, I was like, yo, this is exactly how I feel right now. It's just like, how do I find that balance between holding myself accountable and taking the understanding, like, I'm the one who's blocking me from doing that. And I feel like in that, there's also the compassion for whatever reason we're blocking ourselves, is because at some point in life, we feel like we needed to create this because of something that might have happened. Like, say we reached a certain amount of success, or like every time we get excited and succeed in something, there's envy and hatred around us.
Always.
So when you're younger, when you're a child, or when you're growing up, or whenever that happens, when that trigger happens, you're like, oh, let me stop being successful because then people won't hate me and do things like that.
Go harder.
And it's like, and that's the absolute truth. Like, go harder and continue to do the things. But like, we need to talk to ourselves and not judge ourselves when that happens. Like, instead, there was a quote last night too that a friend of mine had posted, and it was like, when my mental health got better when I stopped asking myself, why am I so lazy? And I started asking myself, what is going on that makes me need more rest right now?
Right.
And it's like that compassion.
Yeah.
That compassion for ourselves.
You're with yourself, yeah. I saw someone post something. It said, give yourself the same grace you give others. So I think that is definitely goes hand in hand with like self-care too. Like, don't self-sabotage, like when you're growing and you feel guilty or whatever feelings arise, like, don't beat yourself up too much. Like, because you beating yourself up, like, it's kind of a good thing because you're recognizing like what you're doing, but don't beat yourself up. Deeper.
It's like you're drowning.
You're literally kicking yourself when you're down. So like, just, don't beat yourself up too much.
It's like
afford yourself the same grace you give others.
It's that same just finding your balance, you know, finding your balance in everything that you do. When you notice that you're doing more of one thing than the other, if you're beating yourself more than you are actually giving yourself credit, then give yourself a little bit more credit. Right. Look at yourself and be like, yo, shit is fucking crazy. We're alive in 2021.
Right. And
shit is fucking wild.
Yes. And don't pay attention to the haters.
Yo, for real. Like, because at the end of the day...
Pray for them.
Exactly.
Wish them well.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you do that, where there's one hater, there's 10 people who love you. 100 people who love you.
Mm-hmm.
So, pray for them. Because they're always going to be there. Like, I used to be so scared because I'm like... always thinking like, you know, I am on this path. Like, I don't mind the fame. Like, I don't mind... my name growing. Like, I want this life. I want it. Like, this is happening, and sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's like, you know, scary, but I want it. And like, that's it. I had to like really work on not caring what other people thought about me or said or anything about my tattoos or me, like, you know, because people always got something to say, but like, they're just talking. Yeah. Like, you're doing whatever you're on and they're talking, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Don't pay them no mind. Like, literally wish them well, because they're only, like, misery really loves company. And I feel like people are only going to say and spread negativity because they're battling something on their own. Like, we know nothing about. We're just, like, getting caught in the, like, crossfire.
I'm triggering something because, you know, if you're being successful and somebody is stunting themselves from creating success, you just being successful in their presence is a trigger, because right. Then they feel inadequate. And if you're not doing the proper self-reflection, like you were discussing prior, is like that leaves the gap of dissonance where you don't know why you're feeling the anger or resentment that you're feeling towards the person. And then if you give yourself that time, you realize that you're actually feeling that towards yourself.
Right.
And to take responsibility for that, because that's mal de ojo. That's, you know, the evil eye. That is, it be the ones, you know, yeah. Rose in Harlem, like, it be the ones that you look up to, be the ones that you're closest to, you know, that give that evil eye, whether they mean to or not. They dead ass might not know that that's what they're doing. Like, I've had to literally tell people I love, whether it's my close family members or close friends, I was like, pause. What you're doing right now and the energy you're giving me is literally the evil eye. This is as bad as somebody putting a spell on me. Like, you need to really notice when that energy is coming out of you, or else you can get the fuck out of my life. Like, and right. I'm telling you this because I would need you to realize it as it's happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I notice with myself, if I'm ever in a rut, or if I'm ever feeling like that heavy energy, and I notice myself like hating on something, because I'm a fucking human being. At the end of the day, I'm going to have moments where I'm like, I don't fucking resonate with that, or I don't like that.
Right.
I just don't give it my attention then.
Right.
Because I'm not going to harm nobody. Not
right.
me. Right? I'm not going to completely disassociate. I'll take it to myself and I'll be like, well, why do I feel so strongly about that? Oh, maybe this triggered me because of this. And like, I actually like unpack that with myself, but that person doesn't have to be a part of my shit at all. I don't want them to have any negative energy.
Consciously try not to share that energy.
Exactly. If I feel like I do anything like that at any moment, even if it's somebody that fucking deserves it and all, right? Like someone who could have did some crazy trifling shit. If I feel that like energy, in my head, I'll pray like 10 times for them to be good.
Yeah.
Like, and for me to like integrate it separate from them. Because whatever trigger, when you have a strong response, it's because you're having PTSD of some sort to something that has happened. It's triggering you.
Yeah.
It's not the actual person. If the actual person is not like personally out to, I mean, sometimes they are. But you know, even when they are, it's still not personal.
Yeah, for real. They're just fighting a battle, like within themselves, because everybody's going through something. It's Absolutely. Just when you try to like really not share that energy, I feel like even that is like something good. Like, that's a good energy to have, because you're realizing it. You're like, damn, like, you know, I'm kind of being a bitch, or like my thoughts or my words are kind of hurtful, and you try to hold that back. That's the first thing like you need to do, is just like take it back. Accountability and retract, for real. Disengage. That's it's okay to be human, but there's a decent way to go about it. You don't have to project it on anybody. That's the thing. Like, if for anybody that
doesn't admit these things to themselves is not allowing themselves to have an experience of growth. When you're like
They're
positive
stunting their own
vibes,
growth.
literally. If it's like positive vibes only, it's like you can't. That's not real. Like that's not real. If you're like, oh, only good vibes, like I know that's a trendy sentence, but like I'm not saying welcome negative vibes. I'm saying just like accept yourself, like in every moment. You know what I'm saying? And also, there's gonna be times where everything isn't peachy, but don't live there.
Right.
You know, but to not allow, you know, just like everything in moderation, which is like always going to go back to finding your balance. And that is the premise of this podcast, is like in every episode, we'll talk about whatever topic with whoever comes on here. And we talk about our different ways that we find our balance, you know, because somebody might be out there dealing with the same exact things and they need to be inspired or hear another way or another alternative. We be binding ourselves in mental prisons, like, and being the fucking warden with the key and the prisoner. And it's like what, how do we navigate that? And it's just like, you gotta pay attention to yourself. At the end of the day, like, everything around us is meant to make us not pay attention to ourselves. Like, we have the phone, we get on the phone every 5 seconds, we could watch TV, we could listen to like everything. Like, we could do all of this stuff to make ourselves disassociate. But when you're feeling things, you have to just allow yourself to feel it. Yeah. Whether it's happy, sad, mad, anything in between, just feel it. Just allow yourself this, give yourself the space to like, like 4:00 in the morning this morning, I committed to something that I said I would do for this new moon. This new moon felt really heavy for me. I'm like, oh, I'm going into my metamorphosis again. You know, it hurts. It fucking hurts sometimes. So I'm like, I'm feeling it. And I didn't get to do my ritual elaborate the way I normally do on a new moon and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I could feel guilty about it, or I could just do it when I actually feel up to doing it and like be genuine about it with myself. And that was 4:00 in the morning for me. And, you know, it's a really good time to do it. In all honesty, it's a very sacred time. But I did this practice where it's like, you know, I worked with a few different elements, and I just isolated myself in a dark room with nothing, like with absolutely nothing. And I just sat there, you know, and I was just sitting there with water, and I just allowed myself for an hour to just sit and just experience. And then I took a shower after, and I felt much better. But I got to like understand the different things that are like, I got to slow down.
Yeah, people need to slow down. I feel like that's first part of that, like the therapeutic process is like when nobody wants to hear, chill. Yep. Nobody wants to hear it when they're flipping out, but that's what you got to do. Yeah. That's the first step is
take a breath.
Yeah.
Ground
with yourself, not because, and usually it's like we're so resistant because somebody's telling us to do it, but it's like,
be that person for yourself. Be that person for yourself. And it's okay to also like just, you know, even if it's triggering you that somebody else is telling you to do it, don't not do it. You're spiting yourself. Right. You know, just even if you don't want to give them the credit, walk away and do it. Like,
starting their own growth. That's ego.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which, you know, always was meant to protect us.
Yeah.
So showing love to ego, understanding ego, giving ego a hug, taking ego out for some tea, being like, yo, what's good? I really, really fuck with you, but you be wildin', so can we find the balance, please? Because, like, what? I know I need you to survive. Ego. Like, yo, it's like, we need ego to live or else we'll just get walked on. But, like, you know, it's there in a book that I read, there was this chapter where it was talking about when there's our higher self that knows what to do in the present moment, and then there's our soul that knows what to do in the future, and our ego knew what to do in the past, right? So then it's like, you know, you got to have a business meeting where you sit everybody down in your head, like you have that moment, that meditation or that time you isolate yourself.
Get it together.
And you sit down with them and you're like, yo, listen, this is going on. And then 9 times out of 10, you're going to realize that your higher self and your soul are jumping ego. They're like, you're a fucking jerk. Like, why you out here bugging? And ego's like, well, I'm just doing my best. Like, I'm just doing what I know. Like, this is what I've been taught. And then once we stop jumping ego and actually let ego sit at the table and be like, what are your concerns? And then we can also just be like, our higher self and our soul can be like, it's okay, you're safe. You don't have to keep doing that anymore.
Right.
Once we start handling everything with compassion, like reparenting ourselves, treating us like the way you would treat a child. Like, you're not going to look at a child, or I mean, I hope that you're not going to look at a child and, like, the first time they're going to go grab something and they didn't know to, like, hey, honey, like, that's not for you to pick up. Right. Now you know. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We definitely need more compassion in the world, and then... like, we could only ask so much of other people, so I feel like it definitely starts with ourselves. And it makes me think of something my therapist told me was, like, if I'm hurting, like, if I just told you, like, oh, my stomach's starting to hurt, you would probably offer me, like, oh, you want more tea? Like, do you have pills? I have a Tylenol on me. But why is it that when we need the help, it's so hard to cater to ourselves? And it just, like when she told me that, I was like, damn.
It's so
it's true, yeah.
It's so true. And it's not with everybody. I feel like that's a very specific type of person. And I definitely am that person, so I get it.
Right.
There's people that are opposite, you know. I've recently learned that. I didn't realize. I just thought everybody was like that. But everybody comforts in different ways. Some people have not been comforted by anyone at all, that they externalize it in the way of they only comfort themselves. And then there's the people that haven't been comforted, but they comfort everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, and externalize it in that way. So it's like treating yourself. This is something that I will get into when I'm going to do a podcast on sexual energy and like partnerships, healthy partnerships, and also like the relationship we have with ourselves, like intimately in that way. And something that I think is really important is like, I talk about a lot, like treating yourself like you're chasing yourself. You know, like you're chasing somebody that you really like, you know, that you really love. Then like the same way you would make them tea if they came over to your house, that you make yourself tea because you're like, I'm over at my house. Like, I'm going to make me tea.
Serve yourself tea, have a sit down.
And give yourself what you want to give to other people.
Yes.
You know,
even if it's not, you know, their way of actually comforting, do it because whatever way you comfort, like afford yourself the same. And
you realize that your love language, that sometimes you think like, oh, okay, I want to do this for someone, but that's not even their love language.
Yeah, sometimes it's not. Yeah.
It's like, it's so.
Me and Daniel are so different in the way we show love. Yeah.
Some people show it with things. Some people show it with words.
He's a thing person. He loves, but I understand that now. I know that's his way. Like, even though it's like I'm not very, I guess, materialistic in a gift giving way. Like, I love gifts. Everybody loves gifts, but like I don't need like an overwhelming amount. But he loves to shower me with gifts. But I love that because that's his way to, you know, show love me. Like, I know he's you know, doing his loving ways or whatever, but like I like acts of service, like doing things for me, stuff like that I love, but he's also very good with that. But it's just like understanding that
you have to give yourself the space, like whether you're single and you're with yourself, to notice like what you want to give to someone else and then rerouting it to yourself, because a lot of times you're doing that to people that like dead ass didn't even sign up for that shit, and like you're not even like, you're in some weird situationship and all of a sudden you're like fucking cooking for them, doing this shit, and they don't care, you know what I mean? So it's like, do that for yourself, okay? And then, or if you're in a relationship with somebody, realize what is it that they want, not what I think they want, or not what I think I want to give to them.
Right. Not and, like what you would like, really, really think what they would like.
And then still give yourself that. Then still give yourself that, even if you're in a relationship. And then find out their love language and listen to them, because they're saying it in everything that they do.
I'm trying to listen more. I talk a lot, but I'm trying to listen more.
It's important.
Yes.
It's like fasting from talking.
Yeah. By
listening all day.
And it's cool because I've seen progress already. Like, I'll be like, I'm about to be saying something. I'll be like,
Yep.
It sounds crazy. Like,
I really feel
But
that.
then I sit there and I'm like, my ears open.
I love when I notice that I'm doing
Yeah.
it too. Like, because you get to sink in. Like, anybody who knows me or watches this podcast, you know, this podcast exists because I love to be talking my shit. Like, I love talking. Like, I used to always get moved in school for it. Besides the fact that, like, big ADHD
girl.
energy, like, you know, it's something I've been unpacking this
I
past
used to
month.
get moved too.
But, like, all the time, you know, and
be
now,
like, ha, I talk to them too, man.
yeah, I'm like, I'll talk to the fucking wall. Like, joke's on you. I'm talking to myself. Like, and, yeah,
school.
no, for real. And it's just, it's something that I work on. It's definitely harder when you have caffeine in your system. But when I'm caffeine in my system, I'll be like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I know you need to talk too. Like, I didn't mean to do that. And I catch myself and I'll like, okay. Disengage, like, leans back, listening. But I need to not be like on it or else I'll be like,
Nah, I feel you.
having the compassion though. Once
Yes.
again, finding the
Compassion, balance, unleash your power, step out of your, or like our parents would like to say, get your own head out of your ass.
I feel like everyone's always like hesitates to curse. I'm like, nah, you could.
It's so for real though. Like get that out of there. Look at that. Get it
That's
out
how
of
real
there.
it is. That's how real it is. As we from New York say, anytime anything happens after something is said.
Dead ass.
Yeah, like you know, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No, if we're getting close to closing, I just want to reiterate, if anybody needs mental health, free week of therapy. I know it's not much, but maybe they take insurance as well, so everybody's different. Hit me up for a link. I will send you a link. It's for a mental counselor. Anywhere you go, it's through an app. It's pretty cool. Yeah, hit me up if you need that. And as far as stepping out of your own way, don't listen to the haters, because they will get you down in the dumps too, but get out of your own head. Get in your bag.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
girl.
for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
This is really dope.
I also want to just give a shout out to the curl on the right side of your head. That's,
Hey.
like, that's really just like so cute.
This-
Can we zoom in on that? Like, I just love her so much, and I just need her to have some like specific airtime. Okay, but
Oh, wait, we got to get the shirt.
Oh, go ahead.
popping
Yeah,
on.
we got
Yes.
Team Tiger Lily Tattoo. Okay.
Yes, baby.
Shout out to Staten Island artists out here doing what they're doing, helping us to
Yes.
express ourselves via skin.
Oh, and catch us at the New York convention in Midtown Manhattan. God willing, it happens. That's October 1st through 3rd. So come through if you're.
What is that, Jacob Javits?
No, it's in Midtown Hilton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's a couple of floors, lots of artists.
Oh,
I'll be there
awesome.
tattooing with Justin
Cool.
and Chanel, our new apprentice. She's a really dope artist. She's actually participated in some of the female centrics.
Oh, cool.
She's really amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know who she is. She's
Chanel,
really
yeah,
dope.
Chanel Noir.
She's dope.
I
Like,
resonated a lot with her because I felt like she was being slept on, and she's been reaching out to me for years. And we just, been like friends on Instagram, and then I met her here, and we never lost touch. And she, she showed up. She's working hard, and she's great. She's a great girl. I freaking love her.
Yo, I met her at Female Centric. I forgot. I literally think I was doing something.
And she's an incredible artist, like already. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
great ingredients for another tattoo artist, especially. Like, I'm grateful to have somebody like that to potentially be on our team.
For
yeah,
sure.
she's great.
I forgot what I was doing, but I did tell her. I remember turning around her and her friend. I was like, first of all, I love your energy.
Yeah, her energy,
I'm like,
her
both of
laugh,
them,
her
yeah.
laugh is so cute. It's like the cutest thing ever.
I'm like, yo, this is the thing that gets me tight about, like, anybody who has me on Instagram knows that, because I talked about it mad times, I unfollowed literally everybody. So, like, the people, like, I met her randomly at Female Centric. I don't know if I have mutual. I think I do. But I need to find her. And if I don't already have her, I need to refollow her. Like, that's the thing that gets me tight, though, is because, like, I did that and I feel really good because I recalibrated.
Yeah.
But then I'll remember these random people, but I won't remember their Instagrams.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But she actually did a social media cleanse, so she doesn't.
Okay, so we're on the same time. Good.
Yeah, no, she really. You would love her, Leo. She's another Leo.
I already did love her when I met her. We had a great vibe, and then we used to communicate on Instagram. So now I was just like, when you just mentioned her, I was like, oh shit, like people exist and I like them.
Yeah, once you see her in the shop, you'll be like, I see.
I'm
Her
excited.
energy is just great. I love it.
Great. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Shout out to Chanel and to a new female artist.
Yeah, come into Staten Island. Another Latinx. Because I'm pretty sure, I think Tiger Lily is the first brown person owned shop in Staten Island.
That's incredible.
I mean, unless there's another one out there I have no idea about, but I'm pretty sure we're the first, because Justin is absolutely brown. You know, I'm white passing, but I'm like red orange. I don't even know what.
You're Colombian and Puerto
right,
Rican.
and Puerto Rican and a bunch of other stuff according to Ancestry.com. But yeah, she's a great addition, and we're just super happy to be growing and putting on for Staten Island, because that's who we're putting on for. Everywhere we go, we're like, Staten Island, New York.
Yeah, because everybody be fucking leaving Staten Island and be like, I don't know about that place. Right. I didn't grow up there for 20 years. Like,
people be shouting out Jersey, and they look at me. I'm like,
Jersey and Brooklyn.
I'm like, I only live there. Like, I am not from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey for me living there, but I'm not from there.
No, for real. No, I love that for
I go there for lower rent.
I get that, you know.
You gotta make smarter moves. Hello.
Yeah. So, shout out to that.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Growth. Another form of growth. Moving. Shout out to everybody who's moving.
Facts. Yeah. Anyone who moved, anyone who is going to move, you know. That's a whole process. Within itself. I want to pull cards before we get off.
Yeah, let's do it. You know, I'm all down for the.
Okay, so you want to pull some? I'll pull some.
Oh wait, are we?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay.
I'm like, because you were so hype about it. I'm like, you know what, sis? Like, you want to do this?
I love. Are you kidding me?
So let's do. So we have the psychic.
You know, I have my ink and intuition
right now. Ink and intuition, yes.
Yeah, the one.
Oh my God. Oh, that just gave me an idea.
Yeah. Because like I've been reading more about like the ceremonial part of tattooing.
Yes.
And like it makes sense why I feel so connected to like my clients after. Because I thought it was just like me being like my clingy, loving, super
I also want to just say, like, Scorpio. No. Like, I'm very specific and very particular with who I let touch me in any way of the sense, like whether you're doing my hair or if I'm definitely getting energy work done by you. Like, the only time I go to anybody else besides you is when I've been just like manic. But in all honesty, ever since I've been going to you, you're the only, like, it's always been a ceremony.
Haku.
It's always been a ceremony. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're gonna show everybody Haku real quick. Like, he's so handsome.
Oh, and he's healed so good. Look at him.
This is Haku. Look at him. Look at handsome Haku.
I love the way he just like wraps everywhere.
Come on. She did
tail.
This shit in like
his tail is on her back. We can't get there, but it's
It's up here.
I love,
love,
yes. That,
it's
the aqua
so,
healed so good on you.
I love it. It's on my face. Yo, sis, that ass had in my face. You understand the trust. This is what I'm getting at. It's like, since the first tattoo, since when we did the tornado.
And you pray over my ink every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I always pray over it. I pray for you. I pray for the ink. I pray for everything involved. And like we've talked about many times where you've been the confidant for me. I always end up getting tattoos throughout major transitions in my life where I've confided in you about like some really intense shit too. And like you being there and then also like being that support system, and then whether you were aware of it or not, like something I've noticed from the rip and a big reason why I feel comfortable with you, besides like the obvious, is like you put so much love into what you're doing and it's felt. Yeah. And then the last time when we were doing Haku, you were saying like, I'd be hoping that it doesn't hurt people and like, you know, and I'm like, yo, that makes so much sense because like, it doesn't. Like my tattoos heal
like that
completely.
Intention is going into it, right?
Yo, my
that
tattoos heal completely different with you than with anyone else. Like, I get huge scabs.
Scabs, yeah.
Every tattoo I've ever gotten, and that never happened with yours. Literally.
Good.
It's never happened. Like, it's like actually not happened. Like, it'll be like mild little scab, but it doesn't happen. And like with everyone else, it's like thick and rocky, and it's like I feel like I can't move because it's like like for real. Especially when I got like these chunks done. Oh my god, I couldn't. When I got my arm done, it was like I couldn't move. I felt like I needed a cast.
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, so I just needed to say that because for real, like it is really important who you get. Anything that you gotta fuck with people before you get things. If you don't resonate with somebody, then you shouldn't be getting really things from them.
Yeah,
it's just like
I'm actually really blessed to like have a lot of like an overflow of clients that like are really like aware of what the art they're putting on their body. Like they're very, I don't know, just
conscious,
like conscious of it, because I feel like a lot of people
but
go
you
and like,
attracted that.
and I'm
You
also fun
that.
tattoos and stuff like that, but it's like some people bring me, you know, like cover ups, and I'm like, damn, like why'd you lay down and like let them do this? Like how'd you leave with this? And sometimes I'm just like, ugh. Most of the times it's like almost like the tattoo doesn't match their energy, and I just feel bad. But most of the time it's like amazing because I can cover it, and then it's like a whole nother fulfilling like crazy feeling because then their face, like their whole everything changes.
This
like
is where I'm like, yo, you need to watch Fullmetal Alchemist because you dead ass out here alchemisting people. Like, you know, like for real, like you out here like,
I have to.
Your tattoo is your transmutation device. It's like for real. Like,
so many women have told me like, oh, now I can wear a bathing suit, and I'll just be like, girl, you wearing a bathing suit? Like, you want to go to the beach? She was like, they'd be like, no, I'd wear a shirt to cover it, or I'll wear shorts. I would never let it show. Like stuff like that, you know? And I'm like, wow, like that feels good to know, like I helped them love themselves again because they didn't like that part of them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm reading more about like the ceremonial parts of tattooing, and it's really cool. It really makes sense, like why I feel. And
it's also like our ancestors did that in that
my
way.
grandma had said it. She was like, maybe you had a past life of a villager, like doing the markings. And I was like,
absolutely.
Maybe.
And the more you start bringing that practice into it, the more like, you know, like even there's people that do it as a ceremony, like full fledged. Like you might feel called to do that with certain tattoos and with certain people. Like I'm here to explore that. You know, I'd be doing everything with ceremony. I'm like, I'll be going to get food and I have a whole ceremonial prayer before I eat it. I'm like, if you want to be involved, I'll say it out loud. If not, I'm gonna just do it in my head. Either way,
right? This was my offering. Like, this was my offering. My Ritz crackers.
Thank you so much. and we have oh my god, the tiny gummies. Like I feel like can we zoom in on this? Can we get that? Can we get over here? Look at these babies right here. Are you kidding me?
They're so cute.
Are you kidding me?
They're from my God Baby's baptism party.
Let's take a shout out to Kenny and these shots because
this setup is amazing.
Right, you see me glistening in my sweat. Like, you see everything.
It's the highlight. It's the highlight.
It's a highlighter, right? Yeah. It's a highlighter and it's the dewy finish.
Yes, there we go.
But yeah. Okay, so let's pull.
Let's do it.
So you'll pull. Well, which one do you want to pull from?
I'll do this one.
This one.
I like the gold cards.
So this one is the life purpose cards. So I like to pray over it. Here, let's give myself some Florida water. Okay. So, you know, you can say your prayer inside your head or out loud. I'm going to say it.
Let's do it.
So I pray right now in this time and space for Ashlee and I to tune into the frequency of whoever is listening to this podcast now in this moment, whether it be live or in the future, to attune to whatever it is that we need to hear and whatever message is to come forth to help us to get out of our own way and to help us unlock our own power in a good way. Thank you, Creator Whole.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Meeps. I'll be moving it. I love this microphone. Shout out to Kenny for the setup.
Yeah, this setup is beautiful.
For real.
Gorgeous.
I'm so happy to be back.
Amazing.
I haven't been here for 2 weeks. I've been missing it. I'm so happy to be back. Shout out to Kenny. And Hub 17. Okay.
I pulled 3. Which is so funny. This is so funny.
Literally the podcast.
If you're sticking around for this,
literally the podcast
it's going to make so much sense.
Yo, for real. Like, same. It's literally the podcast.
So I got teaching. It says you inspire young people to learn. Support. Your life purpose fully supports you. And author. You have a book inside of you that wishes to be expressed. Make time to write it.
You heard?
Which is crazy because I just finished reading a book by my friend who is a flight attendant. And it was amazing. I actually read it while I was getting my whole elbow blasted away. And it was amazing. Like, I was crying. Like, literal weeping tears because it was just so beautiful. It was a really great book. If anybody's into, like, an easy read. I actually brought it for you so I could give it to you.
Oh.
Like, pass it. Yeah, if you're into reading or if you know
sure.
somebody. I bought 2 copies, so I wanted to pass one around because she's amazing and, like, the book is amazing.
I love
so
it. I'll read it and then I'll pass it, so it'll keep going. Whatever.
And it's a super easy read, especially for people who don't, you know, like to read novels.
Heavy stuff. Yeah. No,
like stuff that's never gonna end.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I'm both of those people. I'm like, I will read something nice and light, and then I'll read something that's like dense, like transcripts and I'll be doing a lot.
It's called Love Chronicles of a Sky Girl.
Oh,
if anybody wants, it's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on
that's
Amazon.
So
it's purple, and she's on the cover. If
it's
anybody,
purple.
It's purple.
I love the weight of "it's purple" in that sentence for you.
You know, you gotta be clear so that people. Oh, there we go.
Got you, sis.
Sorry, it's my first time.
You good. You doing great.
Yeah, she you know, gotta give them direction so they know. They'll be like, oh, what was the book? They'll go and look and it's the purple one. They'll remember that.
I have this shade of purple in my mind. I wonder if it is
purple.
That. We're just purpling. We're purpling today.
Yeah.
Also, extra bonus points for anybody who knows where this is from. It's like every day I wake up and I have to pick what anime drip am I going to wear. I love
your anime drip. Right? You always including something.
It's like in some point of my outfit is going to have something, and it's up to you to figure it out. Okay, now back to the cards. So the message that came out is straight up like everything we talked about on this podcast. So this is a different rendition of the traditional tarot. So it's based off that. So 15 in the tarot is the devil card, right? So people get mad afraid of it. But in this deck, it's master. And it shows you being the master over your own heart, right? So now it was in reverse. Why? Because that has to do with addictions, overindulgence, and things of that sort. So it's like not allowing yourself to believe that you can't master yourself. You are in full control of yourself. Giving yourself that rest and recuperation, right? Rest and reconsider. Reconsider your point of view of what it is to master yourself and giving yourself that space to do so. So like resting and reconsidering, but not staying there, right? Because then you'll hinder yourself from that blossom, right? It was also in reverse. So the first 3 were in reverse, not to be like, wow, this is trash, but more to be like, okay, we need to flip them over because we're overindulging in the other end. So anybody that's listening to this is definitely going to resonate with everything that we're saying. Right. Because the way these cards came out is like, word fam. Like literally that's like everything what this deck just like talked about. And that's like, well, what do you need? What do you think you need?
The whole time, balance.
Just balance. Just give yourself that compassion and find that balance within what it is that you need to nurture. But because it's right here. It's like literally it's me stopping myself from moving into my blossoming, right? Like from stopping myself from unleashing my own power. How do we solve that? by creating balance and harmony. Giving attention to the other area that you are neglecting is really the answer that you have, that you need for any struggle that you're going through right now. That is the answer. So I hope that these messages find you well.
Yes.
And thank you so much for tuning in with us. It is, it's okay. Thank you so much for tuning in with us.
Oh, it's 12 on the dot.
Is it?
Yeah, it is 12 noon on the dot.
And we love you, appreciate you.
Yes, thank you everyone for watching, tuning in. Thank you for having me again.
Of course, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And see you soon. See you next week, same time, same place.